The moment I walked into my apartment, his jacket was already waiting for me. Warm, fresh, and he hadn't been in my life for years. The jacket that shouldn't be there. When I unlocked my apartment that evening, the hallway greeted me with its usual quiet, the soft hum of the refrigerator, the faint scent of vanilla from the candle I had forgotten to blow out, and the warm glow from the small lamp near the window. It all looked perfectly normal. Except for one thing. There was a jacket on my chair. A dark navy blue jacket, neatly placed, too neatly. For a moment, I simply stared at it, my keys still frozen in my hand. I did not own a jacket like that, and I hadn't had any guests in weeks. My friends always messaged before coming, and my building had a strict entry system. No one could simply walk in. My heartbeat thumped in my ears. Maybe I left the door unlocked, I whispered to myself. But I knew I hadn't. I never did. Living alone in a big city teaches you these things. I slowly stepped toward the chair, each footstep echoing louder than it should. My living room suddenly felt too small. The shadows looked deeper, and the air felt heavier. When I touched the jacket, it was warm. As if someone had worn it recently. Very recently. A shiver crawled up my spine. I picked it up with trembling hands and checked the inside tag. No name, no number, just a single embroidered initial. I swallowed hard. The only person I knew whose name started with L was Leon Carter, my new neighbor. Tall, quiet, unreadable. I had spoken to him only 3 times since he moved into the apartment across from mine. Just short, polite exchanges. But why would his jacket be in my apartment? I fished out his jacket pocket. My heart dropped. Inside was a folded piece of paper with my name on it. Elena. My breath caught. My fingers hesitated before unfolding the paper. You should not walk home alone at night. I saw someone following you again today. Keep your door locked. My legs went weak. I sat down on the edge of the sofa, staring at the handwritten note. Each stroke of the pen was strong, precise, and unmistakably masculine. But fear wasn't the only thing rising in my chest. There was confusion, concern, and something else. Something I didn't want to name. Why would he be watching me? Why would he write a note instead of talking to me? And most importantly, how did he enter my apartment? Before I could think further, a loud knock exploded through the silence. My heart nearly stopped. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I turned toward the door, my breath trembling. Every horror scenario rushed into my mind at once. Whoever it was, they were standing completely still on the other side. I forced myself back up and walked towards the door, each step heavier than the last. My voice came out shaky. Who's there? A pause. Then a voice I recognized, low, calm, deep. Leon. My heart punched against my ribs. Elena, he said softly, please open the door. I need to explain. No, 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 no. This is wrong. Too wrong. I took a step back. Explain what? How did your jacket get inside my apartment? How did you get inside? Silence followed. Then his voice came again, steadier this time. I didn't go inside. My grip tightened on the doorknob. Then, how? Elena, please. His tone shifted, becoming urgent, but still controlled. Open the door. Something happened today after you left work. I don't want to talk about it through a door. A chill swept through me. What happened? Another long silence. Then he said something that made my skin erupt in goosebumps. Someone else entered your apartment. My world stopped. I stumbled back from the door, feeling my knees weaken again. My eyes darted around the living room as if the walls might suddenly reveal hidden figures. What? What do you mean, someone else? I whispered. Elena, I've been watching your hallway for days because I had a feeling something was wrong. Tonight, while you were still at work, someone went inside your apartment. I chased him, but he got away. My stomach dropped cold. My breath shortened. Why didn't you call the police? I did, he replied, but he was gone before they arrived. They said without evidence, they can't do anything. I pressed my hand against my forehead. None of this made sense. And the jacket? I asked. That's why I'm here, he said. Elena, that jacket, it's not mine. I froze. What? It belongs to the man I chased. My heart stopped beating for a full second. I stared at the jacket lying on my sofa, heavy, dark, warm, and suddenly it didn't feel like an innocent object anymore. It felt like a threat, a warning, a message. Leon's voice came again, lower this time, almost protective. Elena, please let me in. You shouldn't be alone right now. My pulse throbbed painfully. My mind raced with every possibility, good, bad, terrifying. Should I trust him? Should I open the door? Something inside me whispered yes. Not because I was certain he was safe, but because deep down I felt he was telling the truth. I took a shaky breath, stepped closer, and slowly turned the lock. The door opened. Leon stood there, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a serious expression that made his eyes look darker. His chest rose and fell steadily, but his jaw was tight, tense. He scanned my face as if checking whether I was hurt. When he didn't speak, I whispered, "Tell me everything." He stepped inside and closed the door behind him. "That's exactly why I came," he said, "because the man who entered your apartment wasn't just anyone." My voice barely escaped my lips. Who was he? Leon's eyes met mine. Intense, burning, protective. He was someone looking for you. Leon's words sank into my mind like ice. Someone looking for you. For a moment, I couldn't speak. The room was too quiet, the air too heavy, and all I could hear was my own heartbeat pounding inside my ears. I sat down slowly on the sofa, the intruder's jacket lying right beside me like a dark reminder. Leon moved closer but kept a respectful distance, as if he didn't want to overwhelm me. His eyes didn't leave my face. You need to tell me, Elena, he said quietly. Is there anyone from your past who might be interested in you? Someone who could want to harm you? The question hit harder than I expected. I swallowed, trying to steady my breathing. Memories I'd buried long ago tugged at the edges of my mind, shadows of a life I had left behind. No, I said quickly, too quickly. No one. I don't know anyone who would do this. Leon watched me carefully, his gaze sharp and observant. You hesitated. No, Elena, he interrupted, voice firm but gentle. I'm not asking to judge you. I'm asking because someone was inside your home. This isn't small. His seriousness unsettled me. Leon was calm, collected, almost unnervingly composed. But underneath that calmness, I sensed something else, urgency and fear. Not fear for himself, fear for me. I took a deep breath. There was one person, I whispered, years ago, but he's not in my life anymore. Leon leaned slightly closer. Tell me. I closed my eyes. His name was Daniel. The moment I said the name, something inside me tightened. We dated a long time ago. He was charming in the beginning, perfect even. But he became controlling, jealous, obsessive. I left him. I moved cities. I changed my number. I changed everything. Leon's jaw clenched. And he never contacted you again? Not directly, I said, but a few months after I moved, I started getting anonymous messages. Weird ones. I blocked everything. Eventually, the messages stopped. I thought he had moved on. Leon exhaled slowly, as if he'd been expecting something like this. Describe him. Tall, I said, dark eyes, clean-shaven most of the time, always wore dark clothing. He had this intense stare, like he was always studying you. Leon said nothing for a moment. Then he walked toward the jacket. He picked it up, examined it carefully, his brows tightening. This jacket, he said, smells like expensive cologne, wood and musk, not very common. My chest constricted. That's exactly the kind of scent Daniel used. Leon's eyes lifted to mine. There was no doubt left between us. Then it's him. The room felt suddenly colder. I hugged my arms around myself, my mind spiraling. But how did he find me? How did he get into the building? Leon stepped closer, lowering himself to sit on the coffee table directly across from me. His presence felt grounding, steady, like an anchor. I've been watching your hallway for days, he said. Every night, around the same time, I notice someone standing near your door. Never close enough to trigger suspicion, but always there. A chill crept down my spine. Why didn't you tell me? Leon's expression softened. I didn't want to scare you without proof. And honestly, I didn't think he'd get this bold. I thought he was just watching, waiting. His hands tightened slightly, and for the first time since he'd entered my apartment, Leon looked angry. Not at me, at the situation, at the man who had invaded my space. Today, he said, he didn't just watch, he took a chance. He picked your lock and walked inside as if he owned the place. How do you know he picked the lock? I asked. I checked your door earlier, Leon said. There's a tiny scrape mark around the cylinder. Fresh. My stomach twisted. Then why would he leave his jacket? Leon looked directly into my eyes. Because he wants you to know he was here. It's not an accident. It's a message. My hands trembled. Why would he warn me he was here? Leon exhaled slowly, his voice shifting into something darker, more protective. Because men like him enjoy fear. They enjoy control. He wanted you to feel unsafe, vulnerable, alone. But I'm not alone, I whispered without thinking. Leon turned his head slightly as if surprised by my words. His expression softened. No, he said gently, you're not. For a moment, the tension between us thickened. His gaze held mine, deep and overwhelming, and I felt a strange warmth spread through me despite the fear. He looked away first. We need a plan, he said. You can't stay here tonight. Panic rose in my chest. Where will I go? You can stay at my place. He said it with such calm certainty that I froze. Leon immediately continued, only for tonight, and only because your safety is at risk. You'll have your own room. I'm not crossing any boundaries. His voice was steady, reassuring, but his jaw remained tight as if he hated the idea of me being in danger. I hesitated, not because I didn't trust him, but because everything was happening too fast. What if he comes back? I said. Then I'll be here, Leon replied, and he won't get through me. Something in the way he said it, firm, quiet, almost lethal, made me believe him. Leon stood up. Pack a few things. I'll go check the hallway. He walked to the door and paused, looking back at me. Elena, he said softly. He didn't expect you to have someone watching out for you. Our eyes locked. A strange spark passed between us. Fear, comfort, trust, something else I couldn't name. You're safe with me, he said, and then he stepped out into the hallway, leaving me alone with the jacket and the terrifying truth that my past had finally found me. Leon was gone for only a minute, but that minute felt like hours. Every sound inside the apartment seemed louder. The ticking of the clock, the distant hum of traffic outside, even my own heartbeat. I kept staring at the jacket, terrified to touch it again. That jacket didn't feel like clothing anymore. It felt like a threat lying quietly on my chair. The door opened softly and Leon stepped back inside. Hallway's clear, he said. Let's leave now. I grabbed a small bag and followed him out of the apartment. Leon walked slightly ahead, scanning everything, the elevator, the stairs, even the corners of the hallway. He wasn't acting like a normal neighbor. He was acting like someone trained, someone who knew danger intimately. We reached his apartment across the hall. He unlocked it quickly and stepped aside for me. His place was minimalistic, dark furniture, clean lines, few decorations. It felt quiet, calm, safe. He guided me to a guest room. You'll stay here, he said. If you need anything, I'll be right outside. But the moment he turned to step out, I stopped him. Leon, please don't leave me alone. He paused. The tension in his shoulders softened. I won't, he said quietly. I'll sit right outside the door. I nodded, feeling a warmth rise in my chest. Safety, relief. something more. Leon left the door slightly open so I could see him sitting on the sofa in the living room. I sat on the bed, trying to calm my breathing, but sleep wouldn't come. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined Daniel standing inside my apartment, touching my things, waiting for me. After half an hour, I got up and walked to the doorway. Leon looked up instantly. Can't sleep? I shook my head. He stood. Come sit, he said softly. We sat on the sofa, a quiet tension settling between us. I studied him, strong jaw, dark eyes, broad shoulders. There was something undeniably protective about him, something grounding. But there was also something mysterious, like he was hiding a part of himself. Leon, I said quietly, why exactly were you watching my hallway these past days? No one does that for a stranger. His jaw tightened. His eyes flickered with something I couldn't read. Because you're not a stranger. My breath stopped. What do you mean? Leon exhaled slowly. Elena, I knew Daniel before you did. Shock crashed through me. What? He wasn't just your ex, Leon said. He was dangerous long before you met him, obsessed, manipulative. I crossed paths with him years ago when he was stalking another woman. He disappeared before we could do anything about him. My mind spun. How did you even know he was in my life? I didn't, Leon said. Not until I saw you. He paused. The day I moved here, I saw you in the hallway. You looked familiar. Not your face, your name. Elena. Daniel talked about you once, a long time ago. He said you belonged to him. That one day he'd find you. A chill shot through me. Leon continued. I didn't want to scare you, but when I saw someone watching your door, I knew it was him. That's why I stayed close. I stared at him, stunned by the truth. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why did you wait? Leon looked away for the first time since entering my apartment hours ago. Because I thought I could handle him before he got close. I didn't want to drag you into fear again. I thought if I kept an eye out, I could stop him without ever letting you know. And tonight? I whispered. Tonight, he said with a hard edge in his voice, he crossed a line. Before I could respond, there was a sudden sharp knock on the door. I froze. Leon stood instantly, his muscles tense, his eyes turned cold and focused. He signaled me to stay behind him. The knock came again, louder this time. Leon moved silently toward the door. Don't open it, I whispered. He nodded, standing at the side of the door instead of in front of it. Who is it? He called out, voice steady. A slow, chilling voice answered. Leon, open the door. My entire body turned to ice. I knew that voice. Even after all these years, even muffled behind a door, I knew it. Daniel. Leon mouthed, go to the room. But I couldn't move. Open the door, Daniel said again, more forceful, more impatient. I know she's with you. Leon didn't respond. His breathing slowed, his stance hardened. He looked like a man preparing for something inevitable. Then Daniel said something that made my blood run cold. I just want to see Elena. She owes me something. Leon snapped. She owes you nothing, he said, voice sharp and lethal. Silence. Then Daniel laughed softly, the kind of laugh that crawls under your skin. You can't protect her forever. Leon moved suddenly, grabbing my wrist and pulling me silently toward the back of the apartment. He's trying to provoke, he whispered. He wants me to open the door. He wants a confrontation on his terms. What will he do? I breathed. Whatever he has to, Leon said. Men like him don't stop. Before he could say more, the sound of breaking wood echoed through the apartment. Daniel was forcing his way in. Leon pushed me toward the bedroom. Lock the door. Don't open it until I say. Leon! Go, Elena, he ordered. I ran into the room and locked the door, my hands shaking violently. I pressed my ear against the wood. The sounds outside were chaotic footsteps, a struggle, something crashing, a thud. Leon's voice, Daniel's furious shouting. My heart hammered as fear swallowed me whole. Then, suddenly, silence. Complete silence. I held my breath. My hands trembled on the doorknob. Leon, I whispered. No answer. Leon. Nothing. My chest tightened painfully. I couldn't stay inside anymore. I unlocked the door and slowly stepped out. Leon was standing in the middle of the living room, chest rising and falling fast, a small cut on his cheek. Daniel was on the floor, unconscious but breathing. Leon turned to me. His expression softened instantly. It's over, he said. I covered my mouth with my hands, tears burning my eyes. Are you okay? He nodded. I've already called the police. They'll handle him now. I stepped closer to him, overwhelmed with relief, fear, and something deeper, something warm and undeniable. He reached out gently, brushing a tear from my cheek. You're safe, he whispered. I promised I'd protect you. I looked into his eyes, dark, steady, protective, and for the first time in years, I felt truly safe. And something inside me knew this wasn't the end of our story. It was the beginning. Her past almost destroyed her, but this was only the beginning of their story. If you want more gripping tales like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.